Welcome back to Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. Now I wasn't able to sell anything because this happens. So I just have to do this first. The Defender's heart greets you with unexpected liveliness. Beyond the walls of the tavern, the once bustling and festive city lies in ruins, but somehow none of that can be felt within these walls. The people in the room are talking, laughing, raising toasts, even softly singing. It doesn't look like typical tavern revelry, but nor is it the grim vigilance of recent days. Sela waves to you. She's sitting at a table with the trio you met previously, the knight, the half-elf, and the red-headed halfling. Caladorn, come! Let me properly introduce you to Elan, Janna, and Curl, the fearless warriors of the League of the Inspiring Cart. Sela pushes a mug of beer towards you and speaks softly. It was me who convinced Irabeth to use what Janna, Curl, and Elan found for a little party. If you look out the window, you might think the end times have come, and the abyss has devoured us all. I thought some simple pleasures, good food, and good company could help keep the gloom at bay. Sela looks at you hesitantly, as if trying to gauge your reaction. I see nothing wrong with making a little profit from this, guys. I understand. We need to continue living and fighting, however hard that might be, even amidst the chaos that has befallen the city. Allow me to declare my support for Sela's decision as well. Experience tells me that we should shed no tears until after our victory. If we start to mourn the fallen while the battle is still raging, then we'll be jeopardizing all our efforts. Now is the time for rest. We will bury the dead after the last demon has been driven from Genabras. Hey, are we just gonna sit here with grim faces? I say we get to know each other a little better, so we have better reasons to toast. Tell me about you and your order, Elan. As stories go, it's not very entertaining. I was born far to the south in Andoran. I lost my parents early, led the life of a simple mercenary, but often questioned the path I had chosen. I am proud of my sword skills. I enjoy training and drills, and I'm not afraid of battle. But risking my life for coin? It takes a special mindset to choose that lot with no regrets. You have to want to risk your blood. I saw too many of my friends die, and I wondered if it was worth it. So, in the end, I decided to choose another path. Now, if I'm going to lay down my life, at least it will be for a good cause. That's how I ended up in Mendev and became a squire for the Houndhearts. It's a small order. By tradition, it never has more than 12 members, and a new member is only knighted after one of the elders die. We patrol the lands along the Wardstone line and provide aid to travellers and settlers. Unfortunately, death is common among the Houndhearts. I became a full knight 2 years ago, after laying my mentor to rest. But I am content with my choice. My place is among the crusaders. Have you been serving in the Eagle Watch for long, Janna? I signed up 4 days before the demon attack. Am I lucky or what? Janna lets out an overly boisterous laugh. I'm an apprentice of a famous fencing master from Miven, and I learned a thing or two from him, believe me. I soon got bored of fighting off bandits and getting involved in the petty squabbles of the bickering river kingdoms. I wanted a proper challenge, and you can't find a better place than Mendev. And what do you know, the moment I arrived, the demonic invasion began. My father would say that's no accident. Fate brought me here. What about you, Curl? How did you end up among the condemned? I just did what everyone else was doing. I grew up in the slums where everybody stole a little, or maybe smuggled, or guarded stashes, so... Curl stares into his mug gloomily. But I never killed anybody, and I never did anything really bad. I got caught stealing, and when they made me choose between prison and the condemned... Of course I didn't want to go to prison. I'm not that good a fighter, but as Norgorber is my witness, a thief can also be useful in a war against demons. I've always been a good scout. I can sneak under the nose of any monster. I don't know where my friends are now. We got separated when the demons rampaged through the city. Chin up, friend. Whoever you were in the past, you're our friend now and a crusader. Your skills will be useful to us, you will see. How do all of you know Sela? I met my noble sister on the road to Canabras. I was returning from the south and from my fiancée, and was happy to be in the company of a paladin of Iomade. We said our farewells at the city gates, and I went north along the road to Dresden to my order's camp. Elan's face grows grim at the mention of the camp. The demons attacked us there at the same time they struck Canabras, but we managed to fight them off. We hurried to the city's aid and joined forces with the Evil Watch. All my fellow Houndhearts were wounded during the battle on the streets. I am the last knight of my order who can still fight. It is so good to see Sela again. Every loyal heart counts these days. I met Sela at a tavern in Canabras, before the attack of course. He was one of the few who would sit at the table with the condemned. Knights usually don't even look at us, but Sela is different. I knew it the moment I saw her. That's what made me notice Sela too, so I sat down to talk to her. I never understood why everyone treated the condemned so horribly, and I still don't. Our Curl is a great lad. So, after that night, Sela and I went round the taverns together every day. Mendev is an amazing place. People from all over the world come here for glory, redemption, or to help those in trouble. And they always find each other. This might be the best place in the world to find like-minded people and friends. That was a toast, in case you didn't notice. So, Sela, did you call me over just because, or is something the matter? I didn't just want to talk about today's celebration. You see, Elan is in trouble. I want to help him, and I don't know anyone else in the city I can turn to. His fellow knights were all wounded in battle. Elan shakes his head. Bad idea, sister. I told you, I don't want to bother anyone else with my problems. I need to handle them on my own. Oh, come on. Hiding your sadness from your friends is no way to live. Curl is right. Caledon helped me find you. Without his help, I'd still be looking for you all over Canabras. So, Elan, come on. Stop being so stubborn. Tell me more. The young knight shakes his head. In all truth, I do not wish to impose. My problems are just minor troubles. A paladin of Iomade and her friend certainly have more important things to do, especially now that Canabras has been overrun with demons. If I've learned anything in life, it's that there's nothing minor about good and evil. Sela begins seriously, but then a smile lights up her face. Take the three of you, for example. It seems like all you did was save one card from some lesser demons. But look how many people are happy now. That feat will never be sung of in songs, but who knows, maybe thanks to this one joyous hour of peace and rest, the defenders of Canabras will find the strength to protect the city. Sela catches her breath. I talk too much, don't I? Well, Sir Elan, I want to help you, and my reputation as a holy warrior of Iomade won't suffer if it's more of a minor adventure than a glorious feat. The knight sighs and seems a little embarrassed. Alright, I'll explain. The life of a crusader has given me more than just a purpose and a chance to serve a righteous cause. When I abandoned the life of a mercenary and came to Mendev, I gained something else I never expected. It is here that I met, may all the ladies here forgive me, the finest girl in all the world. It is a miracle she found any love in her own heart for a bungler like me. But I am not about to let this miracle go. Not even the demon lord Descari and all his demon army can stand in my way. Luckily, my beloved is now safely away from Canabras. For half a year, I've been getting up my courage to propose to her. I even ordered a ring from Darek Sunhammer, the best jeweller in Mendev. Independent knightly orders live mostly off donations, and I'm not what you could call rich, but I so want to make Kiana happy. Oh, it took me 3 months to find a jewel the same shade as her eyes, and twice that long to scrape together enough money. Master Darek's work was worth it, but I lost the ring during the demon attack, and I will probably never find a worthy replacement. The ring is most likely still at the Houndheart's camp outside the city. Elan and his friends didn't have time to pack up their camp. First, the demons ambushed them, and then they rushed off to help Kenabres. I think we should at least go there and check. Not right now, of course, but once the situation in the city is under control. Fine, I will help. Sela puts her hand on your shoulder. Thanks for agreeing to help. Elan is a good man and a true knight, and I think the world should repay those who are so devoted to doing good. Let's help him so he can propose to his beloved the way he wanted. And the Houndheart campsite has been revealed. Sela, I hope you can convince Erebeth to let me go with you when you do this. I don't want to be parted from my friends. Of course. If the League of the Inspiring Cart has come together in this dark hour, we must continue onward together. Camellia, we have already talked to her. I think we also have talked to Staunton. Yep. Just checking these various... Nenio is here. There's a lot to say. Boy, I am pleased with you. I asked you to bring me to safety, and that's exactly what you did. Indeed, having a follower to aid me is most efficient and frankly pleasing. With you on hand, I shall conquer new horizons, plumb the depths of knowledge hitherto unknown, and scale the dizzying heights of future discoveries. Nenio stops to catch her breath. What I mean is, I'd like to express my deepest gratitude. I foresee immense potential in our future cooperation. Do you always express your delight so effusively? What? Who are you? Nenio stares at you for a while, bewilderment in her eyes, but then it is replaced by recognition. Oh, yes, my new follower. So what am I supposed to do? Oh, yes, I must provide some verbal encouragement for your as yet modest achievements and try to induce you to strive for more of such encouragement. That is the principle that underpins any training. She frowns, but only for an instant. I see. Your modest nature was unsettled by the overabundance of my gratitude. I do apologize for putting you in such an awkward position. I will never praise you again. Unless I forget. But let's get back to the business at hand. Your new assignment will be to take me to the inconspicuous ruins that are located in an even more inconspicuous valley lying between Kenabres and Dresden, as soon as is reasonably practicable. I'll mark the place on your map with a large red cross so you won't forget it. What's so special about these ruins near Kenabres? I'm glad you asked. This is my greatest hypothesis, my secret project, and I won't pass up the opportunity to share it with you because you are my most loyal follower and you're worthy of possessing such knowledge. Nenio rubs her nose, and also because you are the first person to ever ask me about it. I cannot possibly imagine why. Some time ago I was walking around the border of the Worldwound and I met a strange person. He was wearing a frayed grey robe and his face was hidden behind an odd white mask. Of course, I didn't miss the opportunity to ask him about the reasons for his absurd appearance, and do you know what he said to me? He said, "I am the answer, but what is the question?" And then he walked off in the direction of the Worldwound. The next day, after I had already forgotten about the first encounter, I had another similar encounter. This time I met an elven woman, judging by the pointy ears sticking out from behind the mask. "I am the answer, but what is the question?" she said, before taking off toward the Worldwound. And then I realized, everything became clear to me. I know a mystery when I see one. Consider this one of my myriad talents. Nenio rubs the tip of her nose. Keeps doing that. After all, these geysers weren't simply on their way to a costume party, were they? After examining several maps, I determined that they were all headed in one direction. To a place not far from Kenabres, a place which is marked as nameless ruins even on ancient Sarkorian maps. That's where I need to go. Unraveling the secret of that place will be my greatest discovery. It will secure my place in history, or perhaps even in legend. How do you know where we have to go? Do you know how to find a beehive in a forest? You need to catch 2 bees, set them free in 2 different locations of the forest, and remember the directions they fly in. Then you take a map and draw lines showing the bees' routes. The The place where the lines intersect will mark the location of the beehive. Fascinating, yes? By the way, forest bees do not make any honey. Nenio sighs. I used the beehive principle here too. For a couple of months I tracked the strange people in the masks and observed the direction in which they were travelling. I collected the coordinates, mapped their estimated routes, and made a discovery. All the routes intersected at the nameless ruins not far from Canabras. What do you expect to find there? I haven't the slightest idea. If I knew what was hidden there, I wouldn't be so eager to go. I'm not going to do those, so that's all I wanted to know about your task. Well, now you know, so off we go. Did I just make a rhyme? Perhaps I've discovered poetic talent in myself. Let's conduct an experiment. Quickly, say any word and I'll try to find a rhyme for it right away. Iomade. Says Discari, go away. If you play, you need to pay. Every shade of color grey. The best rhymes, don't you think? Well, this experiment was unsuccessful. We learned that I have no poetic talent at all. Nenio sighs. But it's no reason to despair. Having a gift of poetry in addition to my inexhaustible intelligence would have been a little bit too much. Besides, I am catastrophically busy and I have no time to spend on writing poetry. I don't like it when you call me boy. My name is Caledon. On the grand scale of world history, your name is irrelevant. I have no reason to remember it. This one is new. You see, the brain of any given individual can contain only a limited amount of facts. That's not true. I only expend my memory on things that are truly important. Laws of thermodynamics, divine esoterica, planar geography, things that would lead Golarion to a brighter future. Nenio rubs her nose again. Besides, what if I make a great discovery but I won't be able to remember it because my memory is full of outdated or useless information? What a nightmare that would be. What a loss for the whole of Golarion. But you do remember your own name, right? At least so I know what to put for the author's name in my encyclopedia. Are there any names worth remembering? There are, and to my deepest regret, there are too many of them. Nenio heaves a sigh that would befit a grief-stricken old man. The names of gods and demigods, the names of rulers, conquerors, and other persons by some reason deemed great by the people of Golarion. They etched their names into history and, alas, every self-respecting, educated person must know them. But there are some names I am happy to remember. Great scientists, some of them divine, others mortal, true keepers of knowledge, and great experimentalists. The pioneers of knowledge. Aurori, Nethys, Aralu, Vorlish. Admiring Aralu Vorlish is going too far, don't you think? Oh, by no means. She's the greatest of the greatest. Just imagine she managed to open a rift from Golarion to the abyss. No one knew how, no one believed it possible, no one even dreamed of such a thing, and she just did it. It was the experiment of the century. Nenio wipes a tear from her eye. I would have been so happy if I could have been there, been in her place. Jeesh. Of course, some part of Golarion's population died as a result of her experiment, and the crusaders are still wrestling with its consequences to this day. But the very essence of what Aralu managed to do was a breakthrough of cosmic significance, both figuratively and literally. Sooner or later, the Worldwound will be closed. Peace will return to Golarion. As for the victims of the ongoing war, they will be remembered as unfortunate but unavoidable sacrifices made at the altar of science. You're crazy. Nenio blinks at you, perplexed. Were we talking about something? I have to go. Nenio produces a crumpled piece of paper from her sleeve and takes some notes on it. This conversation lasted approximately 5 minutes. Bits her chin. By the way, did you know that it is the exact same amount of time the Inquisitors of Canabras need to find a defendant guilty? But to shake off Inquisitors, chasing you takes 5 times as long. That experiment proved that running while clad in heavy armor is not burdensome for them at all. Wow. She's something. Lan, have we talked to you? Yes. Kiado? Still don't want to talk to us. Healer? Yeah, that's the Pathfinder. Irabeth. Irabeth rubs her red and tired eyes. Any success? How is the city? I found Jana Aldori, like you asked. Yes, thank you. It is good to have her back. We need every fighter we can get. Irabeth frowns. I suppose it's asking too much to want fighters that are sober as well. That should be there. Anivia, I don't even know if we get Anivia as a companion option. Ember, we haven't talked to Ember yet. The elf in front of you is young, still an adolescent by the standards of their long-lived folk. A childish, carefree smile plays on her face, and her wandering eyes linger on you for just a moment before darting off again into the distance. Terrible scars cover her body, and a few of her fingers are missing. A crow sits on her shoulder, observing you with its clever black eyes. You're always so cheerful. How do you manage to remain so hopeful when we are surrounded by such horror? Hope? The girl tilts her head and continues with a smile. No. Hope is a lie. What should we hope for? This world is in the hands of demons. Gods can't help, or they don't want to, or they forgot about us altogether. The people know they're about to be eaten by demons, but they still quarrel with each other and fight and steal. There is no hope, only us. We'll have to win without hope. It will be hard. The entire abyss is against us. We can only win by some miracle, which means we'll have to make one happen. What other choice do we have? We'll work a miracle and win, because we have to. Sorry. Because we have to. The elf smiles broadly and nods to herself. My sincere apologies there. Not sure what happened. I just suddenly had a distinct need to cough. Tell me about yourself. Well, they call me Ember. I used to live in the River City, and now I walk with you. That's my story. Why do they call you Ember? I've had many names. When I was little, Mum and Dad called me Dove or Cricket or Kitten. Dad called me his ray of sunshine. And when my mum was cross, she called me by a long name. Grown-up one. I can't remember it, no matter how hard I try. Then, when I came to live in the River City, the good people called me different funny names, like Ember or Torch or Smoky. I don't know why. They called me Bird Brain because I have a crow. They called me Lucky 7 because of my fingers. The girl raises her hands. The middle finger on her right hand and the two smaller fingers on her left are missing. They sometimes called me Grilled Meat and said I was stupid. But I didn't feel hurt. I mean, they are right. I really am silly, and they didn't mean to hurt me. She is very naive, though. I like Ember. It's a good word. Embers are like people. On the outside, they are grey and cold like stones, but they are warm inside. You can blow on them and they'll start a fire to help you survive a cold night. And that is wonderful, isn't it? Ember it is. That's a nice way of deciding your name. Where are you from? Far away from the flower country. The girl gestures vaguely off into the distance. It's so beautiful there. Everywhere there's flowers blooming, golden towers and waterfalls, and everyone is like me, with pointy ears. There is no round-eared people, no short ones, no horned heads. We lived there together, me and Mum and Dad. Mum and Dad argued a lot. Dad used to say that all the good people should go on the crusade and fight the demons, and Mum said he was silly because it was so far away and none of our business, and that he shouldn't abandon his child. She meant me. But he didn't abandon me. He took me along. He said I was born the same year that the hole to the demon world opened. He said it was a sign that I would be one of the heroes who close it. course I'm not a hero, but I'm here anyway, helping as much as I can. Where did you get your scars? Happened by accident. My dad and I came sailing down the river to join the crusade, and Dad said that all the good people were going to the Worldwound to heal it. He said that the crusaders were the best people in the world, and together we were going to win. But when we arrived at the river city, the crusaders got everything mixed up. Thought my dad and I were bad and decided to burn us at the stake. Dad died, and I cried so loudly that one good night realized it was all a big mistake. He started yelling at the other crusaders, even the one in charge, and then walked right into the fire and got me out. The others wanted to stop him, but he took out his sword and scared them away. Kind Knight took me to a healer. I later learned that while the knight was pulling me from the flames, he himself was burned so badly that he died not long after. But I am still alive. Few fingers missing and my skin is funny. I've lived in the river city ever since. I never had my own house, but I had many friends. And then the demons came, and I met you, and you know what happened after that. Is it really so easy for you to forgive them? I'm not sure I could be so merciful. No one can say how much good or evil they have in them. No one can see into their own soul. Ember smiles and tilts her head. Her inquisitive look wanders over your face as if she's trying to look into your soul. No one knows until it is time to check. Do you worship any deity? Girl shakes her head with an unfailing smile. Dad taught me to pray to Iomade. He said she was a kind goddess and she called people to crusade against evil. The knights who burned my dad and me worshipped her too. They even lit the fire with a prayer to her, and she did nothing to help us. But then one kind knight alone, without any gods, changed his mind and saved me. I think the gods are the same as us. They don't understand anything, and they're scared of everything, so they hurt themselves and the rest of us. People worship the gods only because they are afraid of being responsible for themselves. And the gods listen to the praise, and they become smug and arrogant and begin to believe that they are better than us. But they are no better. They are silly sinners, just like the rest of us. Sometimes I pray to the gods, different ones, the good ones, the bad ones. I ask them to stop fighting and hurting each other. I don't know if they ever hear me, but if they do, I mean the knight who wanted to burn me, he was able to change his mind and do a good deed. If he can change, maybe Baphomet can too. How did you survive on the streets? The elf shrugs. There are many good people in the river city. When I sang for them in the street, they'd often give me coins or bread, or sometimes even clothes. I shared everything with the other homeless, and they showed me where it's safe to sleep, where I could get out of the rain and cold, where I could find discarded things. When the demons destroyed the river city, I looked for my friends, but I found no one. Probably all died. The homeless have no supplies or weapons or basements to hide in, and the knights won't protect them either. Knights are like gods, so self-important. They are saving the world after all. What do they care about the homeless? Still smiling, the girl shrugs. Where do your magical powers come from? These tricks? I have them from my grandma. She used to be my father's grandma, and before that his father's. I've never seen her myself, but she's very clever and kind. When I lived on the street, sometimes she left food for me or a blanket in the winter. Sometimes I feel her stroking my hair as I fall asleep. But if I open my eyes, there's no one near. She also sent me soot. The girl scratches the crow's beak, and the bird grumbles happily in response. She tells Soot how to do different tricks, and Soot teaches me. Failed a law religion check. It seems the girl doesn't know who gives her these powers. Her familiar was obviously sent by a powerful creature of good, perhaps an angel or a fae, though you couldn't say exactly who. Thank you for your answers. No, not at all. I didn't really tell you anything. Oh, you did. So go. The elf watches you with a radiant smile as you leave. how about Voljith? There was another person in here as well. Gernaug. And yes, this is obviously a lore episode. Hey Chief, wanna talk? I think we've... No, I want to know more about you. How much is more? Are your family tieflings too? My family is an interesting story actually, but I don't tell it to just anyone. My father and mother had a bakery. Their life was great, but the gods never blessed them with any children. One day my mother went to the river to wash some clothes and saw a basket floating downstream. Inside the basket was a baby, adorable and chubby and fast asleep. It was yours truly. In my hand was a note spritzed with expensive perfume that said, "Take care of my little angel." My mother brought me home, and she and my father realized right away that I was heaven sent. They raised me as their own. When I turned 15, my mother showed me my baby blanket. It was embroidered with a coat of arms of an unknown kingdom, all in gold thread. Ever since then, I've been looking for my real parents. But it's not easy. Traveling takes money. So if you have a few gold coins, I'll pay you back as soon as I find my real family. I give you my word. That doesn't sound very believable. Seriously? Usually everyone just believes everything I say. People love stories like that. You know, a cute baby, a basket, a blanket. What's not to love? They look at me differently, as if I'm worth more just because the sheets I spit up on might have had a fancy coat of arms on them. Voljith laughs bitterly. If I was really a prince, I wouldn't be sitting around here, I can tell you that much. I'd have already gone to take what was rightfully mine. And then I'd come back with an army, so I could watch the guards and merchants who pushed me all around my life and scrape before me. But that's not going to happen. Can I hear the real story? The true story is boring. My family is human. Both my father and my mother. They used to live in a village nearby. I forget the name. When my ma had me, my old man got so mad he almost killed her. Pinned her to the wall and started asking questions like why his son had horns and a tail. Well, my ma told him that her mother, my grandma, used to fool around with a demon. When he heard this, Daddy Dearest got drunk, trashed the house, and then took off. Don't remember any of this, of course. My grandma told me. I was about 3 years old when my mother brought me to Canabras and left me with my grandma. She said to her, "You and your demon have ruined my life. Now you handle him." Then she left. I haven't seen her or my dad since. She did leave a blanket, though. That part was true. But my grandma burned it because it was infested with lice. It wasn't even good enough to use as a rag. You think after all that my grandmother saw the light, felt rightly ashamed, and kissed my horns? I wish. Voljith grins nastily, his yellow eyes flashing. People used to give her the trouble for fooling around with a demon. She wasn't welcome anywhere, so she got angry. Normal kids get bedtime stories, see? But the only tales I got told were how my dad was worthless, my ma was a slut, and I was a demon spawn that no one cared about. She only kept me so I could help around the house and steal things she needed. So that's the truth. Tell me the real story of your family? Yeah, that's what she really thought. How did you become a tiefling? Voljith grins happily. I already was a tiefling, and life made me a thief. I've been in this business since I was a kid. My grandma used to say, if you don't work, you don't eat, and she gave me as an apprentice to Eager, a tiefling neighbor of ours. He was a cunning old geezer. He knew how to take a purse off somebody's belt, how to get open bags undetected, even do some magic. I used to climb through basement windows and open doors from the inside while I was still small enough. And when I grew and stopped fitting through the windows, I decided I was done with my education. I repaid my grandma for everything she had done for me, which was absolutely nothing. Why would I feed her if she wasn't bringing me any money? If you don't work, you don't eat. So I took off. I got bored of my teacher too, but when I as much as hinted at leaving, he said I owed him for my education. So I just nodded, and then I joined joined the Owlbears, the gang that ran our district, and told them that Eager was working their territory. I don't know what happened to him, but I stayed with the Owlbears. Then their leader started giving me the cold shoulder. I did steal from him, but never that much, so I had to rat them out to the guards, and then I joined the Golden Hands. That was a good time, rich pickings. I would have stayed with the Golden Hands, but the Northmen promised me a bigger cut if I told them where the Golden Hands kept their loot. I'm no fool, of course, so I told them. After that, I only had one option, to join the Northmen. And then the family came. At first, no one took them seriously, calling them thieflings and all that, but I felt it right away. They had power behind them, and they had more money. I'm always on the winner's side, Chief. That's why I joined the thieflings. And right on time. Some thugs came from the capital and made the Northmen leave. The ones who survived are in the family now, too. I'm not sure this guy is too reliable. You guys are probably wondering why on earth I would say such a thing. Tell me about the thieflings. Alright. I won't tell you everything, mind, but I can tell you a little. The thieflings are Mendevian thieves. The gang was started in Mendev's capital by someone or other, and soon after they had spread all over Golarion. They're also called the family. You know why? Because us tieflings are easy to spot. Wherever we go, guards always hassle us asking, "Are you lost or somewhat, Hornhead?" We usually say we're visiting a family, and if they say, "Oh yeah, who?" we give them the name of a local thiefling who confirms everything, even if he's never seen you before in his life. That's why we're all brothers and sisters. There are rules. Who does what, who gets what cut. I won't say it's a lot, but they make it worth your while. They'll even heal you if you take an arrow. But the biggest no-no is this. You don't steal from the family. If you don't contribute to the shared pot, you'll get the cold shoulder. You won't be treated like family no more. And then everyone will hear that you went to visit some relatives who have a farm someplace. My best guess. The farm is some underground well beneath Canabras where they breed grave worms. If Sister Kerismay, our boss, looked the other way more often, I'd really be able to spread my wings. Stealing from someone we call a sister? That's low. Birds fly low before a storm. I'm just surviving as best as I can. Aldrich fixes you with a look. Imagine the situation, Chief. You are 7 years old, come home, and your own grandma, your family, is lying there drunk. There's no food because she got wasted in the morning and didn't cook anything. And you know that she has a stash under the 3rd floor board. You take this money so as you don't starve to death. And then when she wakes up, she beats you. Because you shouldn't have taken it. You should have stolen some food. You're a waste of space. And that's something you can never understand, Chief. You only care about moral choices. You always know what's right and what's wrong. Brother, sister, grandma, mother. In real life, they are just words. What do you think of Canabras? It used to be such a hole, then the crusaders and refugees came here and things started looking up. Although, it depends who you ask, I suppose. Which is better steer clear of here, because Iomede's followers are ferocious. Especially Halloran Shapok, the local inquisitor. He's a tough old goat. I didn't see it myself, but a serving girl at the tavern told me that her second cousin's son from his 3rd wife is a paladin, and he said that Halloran takes an unsheathed sword with him to even to the privy, and when he sleeps he puts it on the pillow next to him. And when he's in his cups, he strokes the blade and whispers sweetly to it, "You are my one true friend. You are the only one I can rely on." Irabeth's given us a hard time too. Do as much as look at some little nice bauble, and before you can think of taking it, before your fingers even twitch, she's coming for you with her nostrils flaring and her fangs glinting. Scary woman. But even she is better than Sister Kerismay, our boss here in Canabras. By our, I mean the Thiefling's boss. If you get caught by Irabeth, it is all out in the open. You go to prison or you end up as worm food. But if you step on Kerismay's toes, poof, you're gone. Just like that. No one ever sees you again, and all you'll hear is, "He went to the family farm." even though he's never had a family or a farm. You have demon blood in you. Do you feel drawn to the abyss? Voldrift's tail whips back and forth nervously, raising clouds of dust. Why, are you an inquisitor or something? What's it to you? If I've wronged you somehow, just come out and say it. Don't ask me trick questions. I don't know how it happens. I used to know a fella. He was married to the sister of a guard. Some shady types who got him drunk one night and started asking him suspicious questions about the gods, about the queen. So he wakes up hungover with a headache. Someone's mumbling something. It smells like smoke, and his feet are kinda hot. He looks down, and there's a fire under him, and the prelate is reading out his sentence. Your shadow looks strange. What kind of magic is that? Ladies and gentlemen, roll up, roll up. No dark magic, no fraud. A trick without any deception. Voldrift snaps his fingers and blue flame engulfs him. The shadow that was previously lying calmly at his feet grows, floating in the air behind him. It is the shadow of a huge horned winged demon with claws. Ta-da! It doesn't do anything, just looks scary. I remember when I was little, an old beggar showed me and my friends how to make shadow puppets. You put your fingers together in front of a light and it makes the shadow of a deer or a dog or a dove on the wall. I tried so hard, I wanted to make the best shadow, and I did. It just happened. Voldrift chuckles sadly. Funnily enough, that's the last time I had any real friends. They tried to stone me later, screaming at me, calling me a demon. A tiefling is always a demon to these wimps. Even the lowest ranking drunken gnome thinks he's better than me, just because he hasn't got horns or a tail. The poorest beggar in the filthiest gutter thinks he's better than me. Most people would never show their shadow again after that first time, but I don't care. If stones start flying again, I'll just run. I'm used to it by now. It's a harmless illusion, but you shouldn't show it to anyone. People hate what they don't understand. The blue fire disappears and the shadow becomes normal again. Ah, you're one of those people who are always scared of what might happen. You're not wrong though. You better not talk to me in public at all, or you'll get tarred with the same brush. I used to have a so-called friend, a human. Well, he hummed and hawed and then told me to steer clear of him. His neighbours didn't like me. Then I sent the Owlbear's gang to his house, you know. Just one last visit to pick something up. I'd taken a shine to this nice pair of calfskin pants he had. A good lad like him wouldn't have needed them anyway. He found me later and gave me a hiding for my troubles, but that's another story. I don't think it's just this. Enough, I will ask about something else. Go ahead, Chief. Are you really staying at the party or just waiting for a chance to run off? Yeah. Then finally, Yaranaug. It's good to see you. I look at you and I think, if we have people like that on our side, there's still hope. Inarbris has suffered a terrible calamity, but still it goes on. What are you doing? I only took my holy orders recently, so my god has only bestowed a little of his power upon me as of yet. I am sorry to say that the number of wounded fighters in this tavern is far beyond my power to heal. But there's a reason people say, have faith in the gods, but look to yourself first. I may not be able to help the wounded with magic, but I can at least cut up bandages. Are you from around here? No, I was just passing through Canabras. I was sailing down that old man of ours, the great Selin River, to a village by the name of Chili Creek. I happened to land in the city on the eve of the festival, and I'm ashamed to say I decided to stay for a day to enjoy myself. But I ended up staying in the city longer than I had bargained for. Chili Creek, where's that? It's a small fishing village. It's not even marked on some maps, but people do live there. What they don't have is a priest. They have no one to heal their wounds, no one to offer prayers for a good catch, no one to give their dead a dignified burial. And the Worldwound is a stone's throw away, so I'll be setting sail for Chili Creek to serve my god and my people. Aren't you a young and inexperienced cleric, afraid to go to the border of the Worldwound? I won't lie, I am afraid, but what can I do? Those villagers are simple people. Every day of their short lives is spent doing hard, honest work. And that's exactly the kind of life I want, something simple but meaningful. If I had centuries ahead of me like elves do, I might have spared some 50 years or so to travel around the world, the young man says with a smile. Or maybe even 100, why not? But I don't have time to spare, so I want to spend my short life in the place where I'm needed most. Even if it's dangerous. Especially if it's dangerous. May Rastil watch over you. I don't think... Warm autumn haze. A tall, fragile-looking elf sits in front of you, eyes closed. He is pale as a ghost, his arm wrapped in a blood-stained bandage. You spot other bandages on his body under his clothes, but even in such a miserable state, he manages to keep calm. Raising his eyes to meet yours, he says faintly, I am Fawn Autumn Haze, at your service. His pale lips are reddened by blood, but you see no signs of pain or fear in his grey eyes. Do you need help? After giving you a cold, intense look, he shakes his head. Do not trouble yourself on my behalf. A local healer tended to me. Besides, I come from a resilient, hardy people. My body will endure both the wounds and the poison delivered through them. I am Calador, you can trust me. I might be able to help you. After a brief pause, Fawn says, it would be impolite to refuse such a direct and friendly offer. Who is your quarry here in Mendev? I was hunting a fugitive, a Descarite by the name of Kaelessa. It pains me to admit that there are heinous malefactors such as her among my noble kind. I managed to catch up to her in Kenabres and I wounded her. Then demons appeared and the city was engulfed in flames. I was injured in the battle that ensued and couldn't free her soul from its service to her dark masters. He expresses no anger or hatred as he speaks, only compassionate sorrow. I am sorry for your misfortune. I hope things will turn out differently next time. He purses his lips. There is no need for pity. Our ancient kind is blessed with great longevity. We gain a deeper understanding of the world than other races, and we learn our lessons better than anyone. That goes for learning from our mistakes as well. I survived, which means I will be more prepared when we next meet. I met Kaelessa. Fawn's melancholic expression remains calm, but his entire body tenses and his fingers wrap around the handle of his weapon. Under what circumstances? I hope you seized the opportunity to kill her. Are you certain of your allegations? Fawn lowers his head and says in a hollow voice, I am. Her misdeeds are terrible and proven with absolute certainty. I let her go. After giving you a saddened look, Fawn stares off into the distance. Your decision is regrettable. I'm afraid that in doing so, you've condemned her many future victims to death. I suppose it just means that bringing this hunt to a close falls on my shoulders. I'd like to know more about you. Yeah, tell me more about yourself. Other peoples tend to believe that identity is the sum of a person's actions and the events that happen to them. For them, I am one of a long line of warriors of Kyonin, who, since his youth, has dedicated himself to hunting evil and injustice. For them, I am a successful and capable huntsman who has tracked down and slain a great many monsters. But I am an elf, and for me my identity has a different meaning. It is shaped by the place where I was born, and that I love so deeply. I am shaped by what I find beautiful and what makes my heart quicken, by the fears that come to me in the dead of night, by the things I find so intolerable that at the sight of them my very core darkens and fills with poison. Thus, to tell you who I am, I would require many days and much candour, which is more than you and I have at our disposal. Why did you choose to be a hunter of evil? Because I am the son of a noble and proud nation. We are sometimes criticized for our arrogance, but no one dares doubt our honor. When a crime is committed, we cannot turn a blind eye. If we were to abandon our obligation to oppose evil, if we were to surrender this obligation to other races, we would also relinquish our preeminence. Remind me, who is the quarry that brought you to Mendel? Apparently, we cannot offer to help him. So, basement. Yeah, there's nothing down here. I'm curious about these levers. Levers. Up. That definitely made a sound somewhere. But I don't get it.
I'm gone.
Has to be something about this. That definitely did something.
Follow my steps.
I don't get it. What the heck is the thing with these?
Let's head out.
There's gotta be something with these.
Let us be careful.
I think I have to look that up to find out what the heck those things are, because that's very curious. But for now, I think that we'll end this lore episode, which I will release as an extra episode on top of the others, and I'll do the selling and storing in between episodes. There's one thing that I wanted to do, which is check out Nenio. Scroll 7. 20 intelligence. Not. Abilities. Wizard abilities, yes. Position school, necromancy and abjuration. Focus on illusion. She also believes in Nethys. She's true neutral. Create pit and mirror image. Not sure if I want to have her in the party. Ember. Now those spells are good. Myself, I haven't reached level 4 yet. 19 experience away, so that'll probably be something that happens in the beginning of the next episode then. But with that, if you do have any questions and or comments, as per usual, please do feel free to leave those in the comment section. And of course, I also want to extend the customary invite to my Discord community server. You will find the link to that in the description. We also have a dedicated channel there for Pathfinder. If you have any character builds that you'd like to share, potentially have me make a video of it, then I would be honored to do so. For now, thank you all so very much for joining me, and I will be seeing you all in the next episode.